It's recorded in the chronicles of the great monasteries, in this year of grace 1300, that King Edward I was at Carlisle on St. John's Day and held a great court. He commanded all his men to prepare themselves to go with him against his enemies, the Scots. By the appointed day, the whole host was gathered. The king, with his great household, immediately set forth on powerful and costly charges against the Scots. Mountains and valleys were everywhere covered with pack horses, wagons, provisions, and the train of the tents and pavilions. And the days were fine and long. So they journeyed to the castle of Caerlaverock. Caerlaverock is a castle so strong that before King Edward came, it did not fear siege. It was well supplied with men, engines, and provisions. With 3 sides and a tower at each angle, it formed a shield against attack. One of the towers is a double one, so high, so long, and so large that under it is the gate with a drawbridge, well made and strong. It has also good walls and ditches filled to the brim with water. To the west is the Irish Sea. To the north, a fair plain surrounded by an arm of the sea. To the south, approach is not easy. There are numerous marshes where the sea meets the river. Therefore, the host must attack from the east, where the ground rises. This castle of Caerlaverock is not a chess piece to be taken by check with a rook, but will be attacked with missiles thrown and by siege engines raised and poised. The king commanded his squadrons to form into 3s, then were the banners arranged. 3,000 men-at-arms, all in their rich colours, illuminating the valley. Those in the castle, I believe, deemed that they had never been in greater peril. The marshals allotted us our lodgings and gave us our places everywhere. Then were houses built, not by masons and carpenters, but by tents of white and coloured cloth. Many a peg was hammered into the ground, many a cord was stretched. Leaves and flowers and herbs were gathered in the woods and strewn within. Shortly afterwards, the navy arrived with siege engines and provisions. Then the foot soldiers started their march towards the castle. At once the fighting started. Flying among our men were stones and arrows. So fierce was the first exchange that after a short while many bodies there were, and were many wounded and maimed. When the men-at-arms saw how the footmen suffered, they rushed to their aid. Then we saw stones falling so thickly as if they were rain, hats and helmets crushed, shields and targes broken in pieces. But to kill and maim was the game at which they were playing. They shouted to each other with great cries when they saw grievous damage caused. At this moment, Thomas de Richmond advanced to the bridge. He demanded entry, but they answered him with stones, great and sharp. Robert de Willoughby, during his attack, received a stone in the middle of his breast, but he stood still as a post. But his banner received many a stain, and many a rent difficult to mend. Behold, the tumult begins, involving so great a body of the king's followers that were I to repeat all their names and recount all their brave actions, the labour would be too heavy for me. So many were there, and so well did they fight. There I saw Ralph de Gorges thrown to the ground by stones. Those on the walls harassed Robert de Tournay. Adam de la Forde mined the walls as best he could, but the stones flew to and fro, as thick as rain rains. Many a heavy and crushing stone did Richard de Kirkbride receive there, so stoutly was the gate of the castle assailed by him. For never did any smith strike his iron so hard with his hammer. Many arrows and huge stones showered upon them. Exhausted, wounded, and bruised it was, with very great difficulty they retired. But as soon as they retreated, and so that those within should have no rest, Robert de Clifford, Bartholomew le Badlesmere and John de Cromwell went hopping among the stones and threw them and attacked so long as their breath lasted. The castle's defenders, fully expecting it, bent their bows and crossbows and shot back. But notwithstanding such assaults made upon them, those inside the castle did not surrender. They held out, in despite of all that day and all night and all the next day, until the third hour. From dawn till dusk did Robert de Berkeley send many a stone against the castle walls, and with labour and pain bent and bent again to put more stones into the sling, discharging and splitting everything he hit. Still they did not flinch, but held upon their defence, till unexpectedly one was killed by a blow. Then each one began to repent of his obstinacy and be dismayed. And then the castle's roof fell in, and stones entered on all sides, and whomever one of them was struck, neither iron cap nor wooden targe saved him from being wounded. And when they saw they could hold no longer or endure more, the castle's companions begged for peace and put up a pennon. But he who displayed it was shot by an arrow through the hand and into the face, and he begged that they should desist, saying they would give up the castle to the king and come out upon his mercy. And at that signal, the marshal and the constable forbade the assault, and the garrison surrendered the castle to them. Then they came out, in number but 60 men. We beheld them with much astonishment. They were then kept and guarded till the king decided their fate. He granted them life and limb and gave them each a new robe. And the host rejoiced when they heard the news of the conquest of the castle, which was such a noble prize. Then the king ordered his banner to be unfurled, and that of St. Edmund and St. George and St. Edward, along with those awarded by right to Seagrave and Hereford, and my Lord Clifford, to whom the castle was entrusted. And while we guard Caerlaverock, the king, so skilled in war, gave orders by which route they should proceed through Galloway, that strong and important land. Here ends the siege of Caerlaverock.